everyone, welcome back. In today's lecture video, we are going to discuss Chapter 4 of Class 11 Geography NCERT, that is Distribution of Ocean and Continents. We have already understood about the interior of Earth, earthquake, volcano. So in today's lecture, we are going to discuss that how the today's ocean and continents were shaped. We have to discuss major theories in this chapter, and we are going to start with the first theory, that is continental drift theory. Before starting, let's see a video to quickly understand. So in this video, we saw two words, that is Pangaea and Panthalassa. These were given by Alfred Wegener, who gave this theory. So we'll understand about these two terms more in detail, but just understand that Pangaea is all of the land and Panthalassa is all of the ocean together, right? Again in this video, we saw that all of this land mass, they were together, they broke into two parts, that is Laurasia and Gondwana land. So we have to understand that how these two parts, that is Laurasia and Gondwana land, were formed and how did they further shape today's oceans and continents like how they are present. So let's read now continental drift theory. So Alfred Wegener, a German meteorologist, put forth the continental drift theory in 1912. According to Wegener, all of the continents formed a single continental mass, a mega ocean surrounded by the same. So what had he stated, that all of the land was present at one place only and a major ocean was surrounded around this land. Now this supercontinent was called Pangaea, as we have seen in the video that this land is called Pangaea and this ocean, this mega ocean, is called Panthalassa. Now the mega ocean was called Panthalassa, meaning all the water. So all the land was present in Pangaea and all the waters was present here in Panthalassa. He argued that around 200 million years ago, the supercontinent Pangaea began to split. So we have seen in this video that this was the mainland and it started to break. There were several folds and faults in this continent that came to and that emerged. So Pangaea first broke into two large continental masses known as Laurasia and Gondwana land, forming the north and the southern components respectively. We have seen that if this broke into two parts, that is northern and southern portion was called Laurasia and southern portion was called Gondwana land. And you will be like proud to know that these were the Gonds tribes of India, which currently also live in Madhya Pradesh, after which the name of Gondwana land was kept. Subsequently, Laurasia and Gondwana land continued to break into various smaller continents that exist today. So what is basically the continental drift theory saying, or it is suggesting to us, is that there was this one common big landmass all together, all the land was present together, that was called Pangaea. And all of the ocean was present together, that was called Panthalassa. Now, this Pangaea broke into northern and southern part, which called Laurasia and Gondwana land. Further, this Laurasia and Gondwana land broke and formed what are the present continents that are present. Alright, so I think that is clear. Now, alright, that this is just a theory that was given by Alfred Wegener. When he was asked that on which basis did you give this theory, he gave certain type of evidences. And this is also a UPSC mains PYQ, which was exact, that what are the evidences of continental drift theory. This is the content that was to be mentioned in that question. And also in the future also this type of question can be repeated in mains. Alright, so first, what did he give? What is the evidence that he gave? Evidence is the matching of continents. So the shoreline of Africa and South America was facing each other, had a remarkable and unmistakably match. So you can also draw a rough figure in your exam that okay, this is somewhat like this is the shoreline of Africa. This is somewhat the shoreline of Africa, and this is how South America is, right? So this is a perfect match. These two form a perfect match. All right. The next thing is that you can mention is the rocks of same age across the ocean. That is, the radiometric dating method developed in the recent period have facilitated correlating the rocks formation from different continents across the vast ocean. So for example, think that here is Africa, here is South America. We know that we do have this Atlantic Ocean in between. Then how come these rocks and these rocks can have same age? Right? That is something which is truly remarkable. Right, so the belt of ancient rocks of 2000 million years from Brazilian coast with that of Western Africa, here is Brazil, here is West Africa, the earliest marine deposit along the coastline of South America and Africa are of Jurassic age. This suggests that ocean did not exist prior to that period. So we find that rocks which are present even earlier or which age is even earlier than that of ocean are present, and the same age rocks are present at the borderline of Brazil, that is South America, and that of Africa, right? So that is also another evidence that somehow these two portions were together in the past, and then somehow due to some of the forces that we'll see, that what forces did he mention for these continents to drift. Due to these forces, these two acted in the opposite direction. Right, so till now we have seen two evidences, right? That is matching of the continents and that is rocks of the same age across the ocean. The third thing that we have to see, or the third evidence that we have to see, is the tillite deposit. So tillite deposit are nothing but जस्ट थिंक दैट इमेजिन कहीं पे बहुत ज़्यादा मिट्टी है या कहीं पे बहुत ज़्यादा ग्लेशियर्स हैं, तो ओवर द टाइम व्हाट वील सी दैट ओके डिपोजिशन विल बी क्रिएटेड ऑफ दैट ग्लेशियर और ऑफ दैट सैंड. So just think that okay, that sand and sand is being deposited here. Over a period of time you'll see that okay, this heap of sand has been created like this only. If glaciers are being deposited over a long period of time at the same place, then tillite deposits are formed. So it is a sedimentary rock. We'll study in the following lecture that what are the types of rocks, how they are formed, how they are different from one another. So it is a sedimentary rock which are formed out of the deposits of glacier. The Gondwana system. Now Gondwana is north or south? It is the south portion of the Big Pangea. The Gondwana system of sediments from India is known to have its counterpart in 6 different landmass of the southern hemisphere. There is also one contradiction that in today's world we know that India lies in the northern part or the northern hemisphere of the world, right? Then how come glacier deposits are here? Right, it is also that okay, we can suggest that okay, glaciation happened, but the belt or the subtropical belt in which India lies today, there is not a possibility of glaciation. So we can think that okay, India was present in the northern hemisphere or India was present closer to the poles. It can be the North Pole or it can be the South Pole, right? So what we can find is that these tillite deposits, which are also formed in India or which are also present or discovered in India, have been found in 6 other land masses also, and these all are of the southern hemisphere. So how come only the India that is in the northern hemisphere also has these deposits? So it somehow takes us to a point that okay, these were together in the past. At the base, the system that thick tillite indicating extensive and prolonged glaciation. So we can see that okay, due to deposits of glacier, tillite deposits are formed. So what we can think or what we can conclude that there had been a prolonged glaciation. That is how these tillite deposits were formed. So the counterpart of this succession are found in Africa. So we have seen that 6 different landmass have the same deposit. These are Africa, Falkland Island, Madagascar, Antarctica and Australia. We can all find these in the southern hemisphere. So how come only the northern hemisphere India has these deposit? This is a thought to ponder upon. Beside India, overall resemblance of the Gondwana type of sediments clearly demonstrate that these landmass had remarkably similar histories, that these were present together. Now let's quickly see what all evidence we have already saw. The first one is the matching of continents. Just see how these two will match. Right, so you can see that okay, this is Africa, that's the coastline of Africa, and this is the coastline of South America. You can see that this portion can fit it into this. So it's a jigsaw fit, right? Right, so in this video you can see that okay, all of the countries in which these stellite deposit or this glaciation deposits are present, these are in the southern hemisphere. How come only India has these? Right, so this suggests that okay, these all 6 landmass were together in the past. The next thing or the next evidence that we have to study is the placer deposit. So there is something which is called veins, like gold bearing veins, where gold is present, and with water these flow to different places. So for example, think that okay, gold is being formed at this place, and through water this is present at different places. So the occurrence of rich placer deposit of gold in Ghana coast and the absolute absence of source material rock in the region is an amazing fact. So okay, so we can find that in Ghana gold is present. Like this gold is present, but we do not have any source of this gold. And in Brazil, gold bearing veins are present. So it's obvious that gold deposit of Ghana are derived from the Brazilian plateau when the two continents lay side by side. So I'll show you, just like think that here there is the deposit of gold present, but here there is the source of gold. Here there is the gold bearing veins present, but here there is the deposit of gold present. So what you can conclude that okay, these two were present or these two were together in the past, right? So that is what is the placer deposit, or that is what Alfred Wegener is contesting, that this is how the continent had shifted. We will see a major limitation of his theory in the upcoming slide. And the last evidence that he gives is the distribution of fossil, right? So now for example, if we see that okay, in Pakistan and in India we can find certain type of similar animals, but the animals that we find here are not similar to that of Australia, right? In Australia we find kangaroos, we do not find kangaroos here. So that is how the fossils of plants and animals also tell that what was the history of that continent. So when identical species of plants and animals adapted to living on land or in fresh water was found on either side of a marine barrier, a problem arises regarding accounting for such distribution. So when we know that okay, there is differentiation or there is different fossils or similar fossils, different fossils in the present time, but similar fossils of the past which are present, but they are not found now, because for example, if we find like kangaroo in India, we do not find it here. But if the fossils of kangaroo are found in India, we can somewhere conclude that okay, India and Australia were together, right? So for example, let's see an example that the observation that lemurs occurred in India, Madagascar and Africa led some to consider a continuous landmass, Lumeria, linking these 3 landmass. There are certain type of animals such as lemurs. These are present in Madagascar, Africa and India, but these 3 are apart and very distant from each other in the present time, right? So this makes us think that okay, these three were together. Another example can be Mesosaurus. Mesosaurus is a small reptile which basically lives in a brackish water. So the skeleton of these have been found in two localities, the southern Cape province of South Africa and in Brazil, right? So these two are now at a distance of almost 5,000 kilometer, and also these are separated by ocean. So there is no possibility that okay, these Mesosaurus traveled through the ocean and reached the other side. This is only possible if these two landmasses were together in the past. Let's just see now about Mesosaurus. Alright, so do you think that okay, Mesosaurus can travel from this to this 5,000 kilometers and he can still survive? That's not the case, and that's not possible. So now we have seen that okay, there can be certain type of evidences that was given by Wegener about why did he justify his continental drift theory. But the most important question is about the force for drifting. That why did continents started drifting, and why only 200 million years ago, not 100 million years ago, or not 500 million years ago? Why the force that was created only 200 million years ago? So he did not have an answer for this. And what was the force that okay, these continents which were together, these started to drift apart? Let's see what was mentioned by Alfred Wegener. So Wegener suggested that the movement responsible for drifting of continent was caused by two forces. Number one is pole fleeing force. Number two is tidal force. What is pole fleeing force? Flee means we have to come away from the poles. Now, this is Earth. These are poles. If people flee from poles, where they will come to? They will come to equator. And you can also see that okay, all the continents are attracted towards the equator or are present near to the equator. They are not very close to the poles. And number two is the tidal force. We all have heard of this force. This comes from the extraction or the attraction of the sun and the moon. Right. So the polar fleeing force relates to the rotation of Earth. You are aware of the fact that Earth is not a perfect sphere. It has a bulge at the equator. This bulge is to the rotation of Earth. So because the Earth is rotating, and due to the centrifugal force, we do have, and the centripetal force, we do have a bulge, or we do have an extension of the body of Earth at the center. Now, what happens is that the material or these landmass move away from the pole and they come towards the equator because of the centrifugal force, because it calls it towards the center, right? And the second force that was suggested by Wegener was the tidal force, which is created due to the attraction of the moon and the sun that develops tides in the oceanic water. So we'll study this in oceanography further, but for now just understand that okay, moon attracts the landmass. That was stated by Wegener. Wegener believed that these forces would become effective when applied over millions of years. But we can all understand that okay, centripetal force or centrifugal force or the force of attraction by moon, these cannot be strong enough to move the entire continent, right? There has to be some another force. So now in future, to find some another source, various theories more came. We have to now understand convective current theory. This is the next theory. We are over with the portion of the continental drift theory. We have seen the evidences, we have seen the limitation, we have also seen the force that was discussed by Wegener, but the force that the reasoning that was given by him was not convincing enough. Right, so when we see the convective current theory, let's see first a video to understand. So yeah, in this video you saw like this big rotating hands. You saw like big rotating hands, right? We'll understand that these only are the convective current. Let's see, we'll see one another time also this. You can see these rotating. Now we'll understand that why do these rotate, right? So whenever you boil water in this pan, there is heat, right? This water becomes boiled. and the more a thing boils, it becomes light. Light thing floats over the heavy. There's never heavy floating over light. Light always floats over heavy. Right? When we take oil and water, water floats over oil. Right? Do you understand? Right? So this thing becomes light. The upper water is cold and it becomes denser. This tends to rise up, then tends to come down. So like this only in the mantle, we have studied that there is radioactive activity in the mantle. So that is why the magma that is present here, that boils up. This boils up, so the density decreases. This tends to move up. The upper magma is still cool and it's more denser, it comes down. This is how the cycle of convective currents move. Right? So this theory was now given by Arthur Holmes in 1930. Discuss the possibility of convective currents operating in the mantle portion. These currents are generated due to radioactive elements causing thermal difference in the mantle portion. We have seen that okay, in this mantle portion there is radioactivity here. The material gets heated up, it lightens, it becomes less in density, so it tends to move upward. Upper material is cold and it's denser, it tends to move downward. These create what is called convective currents. Holmes argued that there exists a system of such current in the entire mantle portion. This was an attempt to provide an explanation to the issue of force, on the basis of which contemporary scientists discarded the continental drift theory. So convective current theory is not disregarding the continental drift theory. It is just trying to provide a force, right? So what are the two forces that was provided by Alfred Wegener? They were pole fleeing force and tidal force. These are not strong enough. So just Arthur Holmes wanted to give a force to this continental drift theory. We'll see it once again. You can see this convective currents. Now, if these move in different direction, the land mass from this will break and it will also move in the different direction. We'll understand this more in the plate tectonic theory in the upcoming lecture. And the last and the second theory, apart from the continental drift theory that we have to study, is the mapping of ocean floor. Right? So let's study this in detail. That detailed research of ocean configuration revealed that ocean floor is not just a vast plain, it is full of relief. Right? Like on land, we do have mountains, we have oceans, we have plains, we have plateaus. Like these also in the ocean, beneath the water, we have all of this, and we'll study this in detail. Expeditions to map the ocean floor in the post-war period provided a detailed picture of ocean relief and indicated the existence of submerged mountain ranges as well as deep trenches. What are trenches? These are like deep points. We'll see that how these are formed, mostly located closer to the continental margins. The mid-oceanic ridge. What is a mid-oceanic ridge? That when, suppose this is an ocean. Like these are the convective currents. These move in different directions, right? In opposite direction. So this oceanic landmass will break. These will move in different directions. The lava will come up and it will solidify, and this is how the mountains will be created inside the water. We'll understand this process in detail in the upcoming lectures. So when we found the dating of the rocks from the oceanic crust, it revealed that fact that later is much younger than the continental areas. That what we find that okay, oceanic floor is much younger as compared to the continental floor or continental land area. Rocks on the either side of crest of the oceanic ridge. Ridge is this what? It's just mountains. Let's just keep it same. Like these are the mountains beneath the water, and having equidistant location from the crest were found to have remarkable similarities both in the terms of their constituents and their age. What is it stating? That okay, like this is the oceanic ridge. Like if this is present at 500 kilometers, if this rock strip is present, and similar rock strip on the right side is also at 500 kilometers, these are of same age and same constituents. So let's just see and let's just visualize what is it trying to say. Alright, like this is how, if there is a crack in the ocean floor tends to move in the different directions. If we see that, okay, this strip is at 100 kilometer distance and this is also at 100 kilometer distance, these will have equal distances. We'll study this in much more detail, but why this happens is because every time the lava comes up, this tends to move these rocks, the present rocks at the border, at equal distancing, and that is why these have the similar properties and similar constituents, right? So that is all we have to study in today's lecture. I hope you understood the three theories that we understood, and in the upcoming lecture we'll also understand plate tectonic theory, which is the most important theory, and we'll understand about the distribution of volcanoes and earthquake. That's the remaining part from the previous chapter that is being discussed in this chapter. And I hope that you could visualize through these short videos, and that is important. In geography, visualization is the key and it's the king. So if you can visualize, you can remember for a longer period altogether. So that's it for today's lecture, and I hope to see you in the next lectures very soon. Keep learning, keep revising, and if you like this video, please like and share, and for more such videos, keep watching and subscribe to UPSC with AS. Thank you.